Hello, my fellow noobs and newbies to the channel. Are you bored at work, at school, have time to kill, feel down in the dumps? Well, listen close because today I'm going to talk about how I got down in the dumps and pull myself up out of it. This drawing is going to be separated into a two-part video because mainly, as the title suggests, I got unmotivated and I wasn't able to finish it halfway through, but this is basically what happened. So recently, I've been drawing a lot of pictures surrounding nature because nature has been my theme for the past couple of weeks, mainly because I want to focus on learning how to draw backgrounds. But to me, it's difficult to draw because backgrounds are just not that interesting to me. However, I do believe that backgrounds are important because you can't have a story without having a good setting. Just imagine drawing a character with a blank background. There's not going to be a lot of story to that, and it's going to get very old real quick. So in recent weeks, I've been trying to learn how to draw rocks, grass, trees, make them into a very sort of realistic setting. But my problem is just that I believe I went too big for this picture that I was trying to draw. And because this image is just so big and there's a lot of detail to it, and it's difficult for me to draw grass realistically and draw these plants realistically, it just really demotivated me, if that is a word. But basically, I think I took on too much in too short of a time frame. And so this is where I'm at today. And so this is what I want to discuss on this video. So my question to you is, have you ever had a big pile of drafts or sketches that have gone unfinished simply because you feel like you just didn't like the direction that your art was going in? Or did you ever feel that an art piece was gonna take way too much time to end up finishing for you to even bother completing at that point? Or do you just feel like you don't have enough time to make certain art or the art that you want to create? Now, here are some warning signs that you may be causing yourself to stay unmotivated. The first one is that you simply are just looking for your art to be perfect. Either the colors are not right, or the line is not right, or the imagination in your head is simply not matching what is on paper. The second warning sign is that you're trying to draw beyond your capabilities. You're trying to draw something that you don't have a full grasp or understanding just yet. For example, some of my drawings, I wanted to have perspective in them. I wanted the character or the environment to look warped, but I myself have never studied perspective at that time, and it was really difficult for me to create a background or a character warped in perspective. And the last warning sign is that you are drawing without having a clear goal in mind, or you're just drawing just for the sake of it and hoping that one of those drawings is gonna be your best art piece. And so without planning, that usually causes a lot of headache because then you are just drawing for the sake of just randomly drawing. And sometimes that is what you want. But if you want to improve on your art or you want to stay motivated, maybe you want to have a more clear goal to help you get past your artist block. Now, if you are unmotivated but promise to keep drawing and will start today, go ahead and like this video. If you are still having trouble with art and can relate to artist block, leave me a comment on what troubles you are going through, or if you've been through this before, let me know how you overcame artist block. And lastly, subscribe if you want to stay motivated and take inspiration from my work. Now, some of my most favorite art pieces have been the more smaller projects that I've created, and I'm going to share them here with you right now. But they've had very simple premises. Like, for example, I created a artwork that just had a gargoyle on it. I've also created a little skeleton walking down the street, and even a little marshmallow monster cooking basically other marshmallow peeps, which is a little bit morbid, but that's kind of my theme, that I like horror stuff. Anyways, back to the video. So I also have a bigger art piece that I was very proud of, which was called Water, that I did a few videos ago. But my case in point is that these artworks were special to me because I really wanted to draw this on paper. I wanted to take this image from my imagination and just plaster it so I can share it with all of my friends, and that way they can see my mind in a different kind of light. Now, I want to share with you a couple of methods that I use to stay motivated. So the first one is to understand that it is okay to fail. More often than not, I feel that most of the artworks that I decided to leave is because I felt like I just simply couldn't get my imagination to paper, or I just didn't have the skill to draw whatever it is that I wanted to draw at the time. For example, with this drawing, the nature drawing, I found it really difficult to create grass and to create like a little pathway. But after going through Pinterest and after studying different photographs of nature, I was finally able to overcome it in a sense. Maybe it's not totally what I imagined, but it's close enough for me and I can move forward. The second method that I've chosen has been to create a curriculum based on my goals. I've touched on this from other past or previous videos, but when I wanted to create a manga, I decided that I wanted to do this manga in about a year or two's time. So I decided to break up all the aspects of drawing that I wanted to work on, such as perspective, composition, storyboarding, objects, creatures, making style, coloring. And I just broken down into sections basically within 6 weeks time. And I just created a curriculum for myself. So I basically made my own school and make sure I dedicated myself to that study. The third thing is to dedicate a couple of hours so that way you can actually draw. So what I did for myself is since I have a busy schedule, and I'm sure that you have a busy schedule as well, but I made sure that I dedicated at least 2 hours of drawing every day in the evening. 1 hour is solely dedicated for studying my pieces of artwork that I wanted to work on. And then the second hour is just to draw what I like, because sometimes drawing things or studying seems pretty boring. So I need something to balance that. And the only way that I can balance that is by drawing things that I like. Another way to stay motivated is to basically decompress. And the only way that I can decompress is by watching anime that I like, or seeing some of the artists that I'm inspired by, either on Instagram or Pinterest. And I just really like scrolling through all of their artwork because it helps me want to get to that level of drawing. And now to wrap things up with this video, let's go ahead and go over what we can do to stay motivated and how we can overcome artist block. First and foremost, don't do an artwork that is too big for you to accomplish. Just do something small, something that you like. Another thing is to make sure you're not doing something beyond your capabilities, unless your purpose is to study, of course, for that specific thing. Like, for example, if you're wanting to study anatomy, just remember that you're not perfect or you haven't perfected anatomy yet. So you can still make those mistakes and it'll be fine. No one needs to look at it. It's just for you only. The next thing is to just have a plan. Just plan your day, plan your week. Just, have something in mind that you want to do so that way you can feel accomplished. That way, when you actually do complete your set goal, you feel more fulfilled and you don't feel empty. And lastly, just stay motivated by looking up your favorite artist or just looking at pictures or just doing something that makes you feel happy, at least for the short term. And just keep in mind that later on you will return to drawing and you will continue to improve. So in that case, I believe that is all for today, and I hope to see you all on the next video. Thank you all noobs and newbies for watching, and we'll hopefully see you next week.